Hello, my biddies. How are you? Sorry about the little delay. I kind of dragging this morning. I got home late, couldn't get to sleep because my feet were cold. I think it was like 1:30 before I got to sleep. Not that I didn't expect that, but that's ridiculous. The movie was really good. We went to see Project Hail Mary. Highly recommended. Take your kids. It's not super scary. Um, it's sad in parts. Uh, there's not a whole lot of violence at all. It's mostly just situational stuff. So, yeah, it's scary, but it's not super scary. It's like more like what's gonna happen rather than people like getting murdered and crap. Yeah, it's very good. Highly recommend. I'm not gonna spoil it for you. It's good. Go see it. It's good. Especially if you're not a book reader. There's a book. I have to read it. My my son-in-law already read it. He was giving us some spoilers on that, which is fine. He was just explaining that like one thing that's different in the movie than the book, which makes sense, but it may also makes sense that you didn't need it. So that kind of thing. um. So yeah, I've been dragging this morning. Not even sure I'm gonna do grocery shopping today because I cannot wake up. The coffee's finally hitting a little bit, but my husband slept until well, I don't even know because by the time I woke up, he was already out of the shower. So I'm not sure how long he was in there. I was snoozing until 8:30. Yes, my husband does not have to be at work on time. It's fine. He also left early the last 2 days. It's okay. He's the boss. He can do what he wants. Um, he'll probably work extra. Last night was a night he would have usually worked late because he has something to do after work that and he doesn't come home in between, so he stays probably an hour. He could stay. How long could he stay? Hour and a half probably if he wanted to. But he's working through lunch now too. He didn't used to work through lunch, so now he's working through lunch, so he has extra time he can take. We don't have any reality TV, sorry. My time was we left like 45 minutes after I got off of here yesterday. So no time for that. No time for that. Um we had a lovely time. My uh s- daughter and son-in-law paid for the movie and we paid for dinner after at Culver's. My daughter wanted she could have gone anywhere she wanted. She wanted to go to Culver's, so that's where we went. Um, yeah, so, uh I watched this because I had caffeine and I couldn't sleep. Um, we watched a I watched a horrible thing on the Duggars. It's like, if you're going to do a YouTube video on the Duggars, at least learn how to say the name Ginger. Don't call her Jinger. That's not her name. And get your facts straight because the facts were not straight. Like they were saying, they've known about Joe's thing for 5 years. They have not. It just came out. The girl just told her dad, like, what, last month? So, no, they didn't cover this one up. They did cover up Josh for a long time. I agree with that. But the only people who knew about this were Joe and his victim, whoever she may be. And it's not. Uh, it's not Kendra's sister. So stop saying it's Kendra's sister because it's not. It can't be. She's not the right age. Okay, that's all my rants. I hope you had a good time. You probably didn't. It's okay. You can skip it. It's fine. I don't care. It can be one of those um often skipped sections like the ads are for other people. Um So I guess we're going to start with murder by words as usual, and it's entitled "Judge Not, Lest You Be Judged." And Marcos colon says, I don't know why Marcos's colon is talking, but Jesus is coming. This is not a theory; it's a fact. It's not. It's not a maybe, but very soon. Jesus is coming soon. How do you know? B.R. Creamer says he's already here. He's a refugee detained for simply seeking asylum from political violence. He's the hungry kid who no longer gets SNAP benefits. He's the sick grandmother who no longer gets health care. He's the homeless arrested for sleeping outside. We will be judged by him and how we treat him. Matthew 25:31-46. That's a good answer to that. I like that. Key opinion is the top rated comment, and they say, they don't like it when you quote their own book that they don't read. That's true. They do not like it when you quote Bible passages to them. It's a good way to get them to block you. I have learned. Plain Bread says no, but Pastor Williams tells them what it says, and Pastor Williams loves them like a shepherd loves his flock. He went to seminary school. He's educated. Who else should we trust as a sheep? My God. Just Mitzi is the second top rated comment. It says this preacher Joe Rigney was railing against the sin of empathy, and I could not summon up Christianity any better myself. The sin of empathy. Are you kidding me right now? What the heck is wrong with these people? It's not all Christians. I know that. But these are the people that are the loudest. You guys need to step up. Y'all need to step up. If you're saying you're a Christian, step up against these people. You're not doing enough. And silence is consent. So you're agreeing with them essentially. Silence is acquiescence. So stop it. Talk. Key teacher. That's interesting. We have key opinion and key teacher. This is the third top rated comment, and they say, because I don't know the Bible verse offhand, Matthew 25:31-46, New International Version, the sheep and the goats. 31, when the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the angels with him, he will sit on his glorious throne. Okay, that sounds gross, to be honest. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate the people from one another as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will put the sheep to his right hand and the goats to his left. Okay, I don't mind being a goat. Goats are cool. I like sheep too. Don't get me wrong. 34, then the king will say to those on his right, come, you are blessed by my Father. Take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. 35, so I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you invited me in. 36, I needed clothes and you clothed me. I was sick and you looked after me. I was in prison and you came to visit me. 37, then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? 38, when did we see a stranger and invite you in, or need clothes and clothe you? 29, when did we see you sick or in prison and go visit you? 40, the king will reply, I truly tell you, whatever you did for the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. So if they aren't Christians, then it doesn't count. 41, then he will say to those on your left, depart from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. 42, for I was hungry and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me nothing to drink. 43, I was a stranger and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes and you did not clothe me. I was sick and in prison and you did not look after me. 44, they will also answer, Lord, when did we see you sick or thirsty or needing clothes or sick or in prison and did not help you? 45, he will reply, truly I tell you, whenever you did for the least of these, you did not do for me. 46, and then they will go away to eternal punishment, but the righteous to enter eternal life. Honestly, is eternal life a good thing? I don't know. Marin says, hey, now don't go bring the Bible into this. Robot Polar Bear says, I just recently found a church that actually believes in this version of Jesus, not white American capitalist Jesus. I checked the place out only because I saw they had a free food pantry and a weekly dinner for the homeless, and I wanted to volunteer. I never intended to get involved in the actual church. I've always been atheist, leaning agnostic, with the mountains of religious trauma from people who worship American Jesus. Anyway, the church I've been attending read this passage recently, and it was one of the moments that really cemented my trust in the pastor. It was such a different perspective than what I had growing up. That's all it took for you to not be an atheist? It's kind of weird. All right, next we are still in Acadia National Park, and it says this is from LDR of Newark, Delaware, August 2018. Fog all week. We stayed on Mount Desert Island July 21st to 26th, and the fog blocked the views of all the sites until it burned off around 3 or 4 p.m. The locals all knew about it and said you don't want to visit here after July 4th because of the fog. Otherwise, it's a beautiful park and we plan to return. Like, do your research or, fog happens. And it does say it burned off around 3, so you got until, I don't know, this is what, Maine, like 9:30. That's plenty of time to see things, to have your view. Jeez. What the actual heck is wrong with people? This is from Malicious Compliance and is entitled Nasty Facts Form a Lawyer. I think it means from, but they said form. Part of my job is to answer FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, or APRA, access to public records and medical billing reports. An attorney in a neighboring state requested medical records for their client who we treated. The records were provided the same day. I pride myself on getting any invoices paid the same day or the next business day when I receive them, the same for APRA, etc. 2 weeks go by, I get a secondary request from the same attorney, so I faxed the records a second time and mailed them out. Today, I get a fax with a request for the same records, and in this fax, it says this is the third request for these records. Okay, now I guess he means angry. I don't know that word. So I dig out the reports that were sent, compile all 3 bundles, run them through the scanner, and get a count page of 49 pages. Perfect. Now I fax that bundle to them 4 times today and will continue to do so until it is time for me to go home for the day. Edit. After this occurred, I found out that a coworker sent these records out to the same attorney 3 times, and our contracted billing department also sent the answer 3 times. Also, there's no charge for eDocs. Medical records aren't charged because they don't fall under APRA. And yes, 3 phone fax number is the same. When you get the attorney auto attendant, the fax chimes, sends it to their fax line. Special Original says they probably gave you the wrong fax number. That would be funny. Dramatic Mixture says I get faxes beeping in my ear on the switchboard, and I save a fax letter in my PC that I send to these numbers. I use Fax Zero for free and send 3 copies. If they don't stop, I do it again. The record so far is 4 times. It says in part XXXXX is not a fax number. This is a switchboard at the bank. If you need to fax us something, please call and ask for a fax number. Thank you and have a nice day. uh, Fail says, oh, Cad Fail. I don't know. There's a 4 in it. I think it's supposed to be an A. I don't know. Said, which would be really bad if the OP was faxing medical records to a third party because either they or the lawyer made a typo. Yeah, but there's no way 3 different people made a typo. 9 different times. So, not on them. Oh, Silly Savvy says, considering they received a fax from the attorney, is very likely that they have the correct fax number. It's very easy to verify without contacting anyone. The next we have Evil Buildings, and this is the Zaria Water Tower in Nigeria. And I don't know why they spelled Nigeria with all kinds of A's in it. All kinds of extra letters. I had somebody spell um English, like UK English, it's like version of encyclopedia, complaining that somebody spelled it wrong, and I'm like, "Why are you putting extra numbers in it? Be more efficient. Extra letters in it, be more efficient." That's actually kinda cool. It's like an ice cream cone. How can an ice cream cone be evil? I don't think that's evil. I reject this submission. Armorum says, "I wonder what the interior of this thing looks like." And Friedrich says, "Probably wet." Right? Economics says, "An ice cream cone with no ice cream, truly the very vision of evil." Next, we have AITAH, and it is entitled AITAH for telling my husband no. I mean, no is a perfectly reasonable response to something you don't want to do that somebody else can do. If somebody else can't do it, then it's not a reasonable response if they're asking you to do it because they can't. Just saying. My husband, 40, and I, 33, are having a disagreement. His daughter, 15, had an ill-fitting hand cut tube top on that she wore to school one day. That's kind of a no-no around here. Told her it was time to get rid of the shirt and asked her to turn it in. He said, "No, take it off right here and give it to me," which I said, no, you don't have to do that. Go to your room and bring it back." The look on her face when he asked was the look of someone who was uncomfortable, and she shook her head no. She went to her room, brought the shirt back. He said I disrespected and undermined him. I said, "No, I was protecting his teenage daughter from abuse. What do you all think?" Edit, she was wearing a bra underneath. That's part of his justification why it was okay. She wouldn't have been completely nude. If she was uncomfortable, no. There's no reason to undress in front of your dad ever. Ever. Especially not on demand. Repeat often derp says, ask him if he would be comfortable making the same demand in front of a CPS worker. Ask him why he's so invested in humiliating his daughter and trying to see her topless. Exactly. Lindsay Lego says, oh, I like her. Lindsay Lego says, yeah, it seemed like the daughter was willing to give uh, up the shirt without much pushback. So why in the world did he think that was necessary? Objective Pound says, to shame, humiliate her, to punish her for daring to wear it, to express his power over her, or because he wanted to see her partly nude. This kind of thing goes two ways. It's either about power and control or it's sexual. And if it's sexual, it's about power and control also. Either way, it's completely unacceptable. Ice Seeker says the way he's normalizing this abuse is the reason why some people end up with abusers. It often starts with the parents and the kids got used to it. The daughter should really get some therapy. Yes. Kate Jane says that's very, very true. A month ago, I adopted a 19-year-old, and let's just say every single adult that was supposed to protect her absolutely wanging foot failed her. No one should have to go through what she did. I knew her mom, but I didn't see her for about 7 years before she overdosed in 2020. Her father has been been in prison most of her life, but he was an abusive alcoholic when he was around. She was 7 the last time I saw her, but she knew both me and my husband as safe people. She ended up in an abusive relationship for a few years, but I'm very happy to say she left him about 6 months ago. She had been surfing before the universe put us together. I was honestly just expecting to help her get on back on her feet or to end up having to kick her out, talking people in only one of two ways. But after a couple of weeks of her living with us, my family and I agreed to offer her a permanent place in our weird little family. She almost cried when I asked if she wanted to stay with us. I told her none of us will ever lay a hand on her, and from now on, if anyone does, she has a family to protect her. This poor kid has been through it. She's so happy here, and that makes me happy. We started making bread dough this week, and yesterday she made the dough and cooked the bagels all by herself. Good. This is how you treat people. Remember that first thing we did? That's what it's talking about. Calcamax says, you're right. This demand was cruel in an attempt to humiliate her as he demonstrated other inappropriate behaviors towards her, especially recently. Um, Keep your eyes open because this situation might indicate deeper problems related to his relationship with his teenage daughter. Somebody deleted a comment, probably because it got downvoted to oblivion. And Snoo Chickens answered the deleted comment. Asking a teenager to strip as punishment for wearing a shirt isn't a jump, that is abusive. Yes, exactly. Third top rated comment is from Objective Pound, and it says NTA, if he thinks ordering, expecting a 15-year-old to strip from the waist up in front of him is okay, you have much bigger issues. At that age, there is no circumstance in which should see his children nude, regardless of the child's gender. You were correct to put a stop to that. Or even in her bra if she doesn't want to. You need to have a talk with him, and you may need to think long and hard about this child's safe. She needs a locking door. All bathrooms need to have locks. At best, this was about power and control and an attempt to shame and humiliate her. At worst, he's a pedophile. Eye Seeker said what the husband did to his own daughter is dehumanizing, yet all he's concerned about was being disrespected. You and the daughter should be far away from him. He's abusive and deliberate in doing it. Yeah, the problem is if she leaves, she goes with the dad with no protection at all. She may need to stay for a while. She may need to stay for a while until that clears up, until the daughter can get out. Then she can say adios amigos. Is that what? 3 years? Two in some places. Some kids can leave at 17. At 15, she might get custody if she asks the court for it. Next, we have Neighbors from Hell, and it's entitled, My Neighbors Have Been Stalking Our Unassigned Parking Spaces. Howdy, 48 female. I was just talking to my friend yesterday, and she let me know how truly psychotic this situation was, so I figured I'd share. For context, I moved into this apartment complex back in May, and they have unassigned parking. I live on the first floor, and I have a view of this townhomes on the backside of the complex, along with three obscure parking spots most of the other complex doesn't use. While there's still enough parking for everyone, there's limited space on our end of the complex. When the closer spots are taken, particularly those three, you have to park a whole 60 steps further than preferred. The horror. When I moved here last summer, I noticed that there was a gray car that would always double park in two of the three spots for days at a time. Seemed weird, but I figure not my monkey, not my circus. Over time, though, I noticed that a woman around late 30s would get in the car and move it for this giant gray truck that would take one of the spots and then stay there for weeks. Once again, I thought, who cares? The guy in the red truck, that's who cares. About a month later, in the third spot, this red truck started consistently parking next to the. Why do you care? If you say it's not your monkeys, why are you talking about it? I'm confused. About a month later, in the third spot, this red truck started consistently parking next to either the gray truck or the gray car. But slowly, the red truck started getting petty by parking right up against the gray car, double parking as well. This went on for 2 weeks until I saw the gray car being towed and the red truck reparking in the lines. Yeah, they should not be double parking. That is perfectly legitimate reason to be towed. The red truck guy, probably in his late 30s or 40s, getting out of laughing his ass off. This was the kickoff to the parking stalking. Since double parking was out of the question, the woman and either her friend or daughter started setting up chairs in the front of the parking spots. No, that is not how that works. And would just sit there until a spot would open up, and then one would rush to stand in the spot and the other would go grab their car to park there. Okay, that's ridiculous. Over time, think the red truck guy started getting annoyed because his parking spot would get taken right after he would leave. So he started setting up cameras outside his townhouse window so he could track when the spaces were open again. I know this because one time I parked in the middle spot. I must have been in a messy mood. And right as I was backing up, the red truck was guy was sprinting out of his truck, speeding into the spot where the second I left. I checked outside, and yep, two cameras were newly mounted on his balcony and window. Okay, so I still don't. I mean, that's silly behavior, but they're not. He's the red truck guy's not really bothering anyone. This started escalating the women inviting people over, barbecuing in front of the parking spots, and hovering around a majority of the week. See, that's obnoxious. I'm with the red truck guy. One time, the woman had let her friend run into the spot, and the red truck guy beat the gray car but the friend refused to move. The truck guy honked at her for a few minutes before just parking in front of her, flipping the bird and walking back inside. The friend and the gray truck woman started yelling and cursing, his balcony camera out, going ballistic. I still work from home, and this has become my favorite reality show. I hope y'all get a kick out of it as much as I do. Okay, that's the legit reason for for posting it. No, you can't save spots like that. You can't like see the guy coming and then go jump in the spot. That's silly. I'm on red truck guy's side on this. You stay longer. This is the most unhinged suburban Cold War ever witnessed. I'm obsessed. Two households locked in a parking spot blood feud with chairs, cameras, strategic barbecues. Pure art. Bob Hand said strategic art barbecues would make a great band name. Long live Dave Barry. OP says for real. Is the Pope Catholic? Answers the uh, original comment. Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair suburbia, where we lay our scene from parking grudge to new mutiny, where impromptu barbecue makes civil hands unclean. Rilla says I heard that in, in Rod Sterling's voice. As the Pope Catholic answered, I knew I should have begun with submitted for your approval. Oh, this is why I like Reddit. It's funny. Ill Consequences sound says this sounds like it could be the place my sister lives in. Oh. Minty Sparkle says, haha, I'd be legit outside with a chair just spectating latest live TV. Oh, I'm so glad I don't have people around me like this. I don't have to live in a populated area. Expensive ad is the third top rated comment. And they say, this is the kind of story that reminds me to drive more carefully. These people are out there on the road with me. Who lets me adult says, us, with us. Expensive ad answers. Yes, us. When I was 16 learning to drive, I worked the weekend breakfast shift at Holiday Inn. 50 years later, I still remember thinking every one of these people has a driver's license. Yikes. Oh, next we have found Satan, and it is entitled Chill Out, Guys. These are usually memes of some sort. Memes or posts. A woman that can cause drama and stop a wedding on Saturday is needed. Payment is 2K. And associate side that died said, "Make it 3K and I will bring 2 kids that resemble the groom." Oh, that's awesome, yes. I'd do it for 2K, no problem. I will come and do it for 2K. Want me to bring friends? I'll bring friends. I'll do it for 2K. Down with the woke says, "The old upsell skills right there." I don't think I like him, though. Ember Florexa says, not even the groom has been seen by her. I'm sure she can quickly obtain children. Emperor of all cats answers, kindergarten teacher with a side gig, probably. Small Palpitation says, I need a sub that tells these stories. Well, what are we here for? Dude, come on. Get over here. Get over here and join. Just No Mill, entitled, My husband finally found a sort of background. Finally is in capital letters. Baby's turning 12 weeks tomorrow, and we all went out to an early birthday lunch for my husband with his family. First outing with them, public plus the baby. That sounds reasonable. 12 weeks is a good time for that, especially if the kid was born 12 weeks ago. It was cold. Mother-in-law was trying intensely to control a situation where the baby should sit. We bought our donut stroller, and I wanted to sit at the end of the table to be able to take care of him. That's reasonable. Insisted he sit as a car seat in the booth. I was asking if he's ready to go, was asking if he's ready to go so he doesn't fuss. Did he eat diaper change? Like, yes, you crazy woman. I literally thought of all of that. Kept going on and on. I started to tune her out, but I overhear my husband say, "Tell her it's not your baby," pointing point blank, and she shut up. Literally made my day. I just had to share since I know this is difficult for a lot of husbands, including my own. I was proud. I was never once asked anything like that by my mother-in-law. I'd never asked that of my daughter-in-law either. Like, let your kids take care of their own dang baby. Jesus. Constant Warthog says my mother-in-law is usually pretty manageable, but something about having my kiddo in public makes her unhinged. We always put little one between us. That way we can tend to any needs as they arise, which is reasonable and perfectly natural and normal. Mill will reach across the table to try to play with him, and one time went so far as to grab his food and break it up for them. Hubby smacked her hand away. Lucky for her, because my knee jerk reaction would have been to stab it with a fork I was holding. Honestly, I hate going out to eat with her because if she toes the line, it's hard to feel like you can react properly in public. I mean, the kid can come sit by me if, for a little interaction with, what I mean, as me as the mother in law. The kid can come sit by me. Yeah, there's two over there. I can corral your kid. So I don't know. I'm kind of torn on that. There was no answers to that. Environmental hair says, my mother used to demand the car seat next to her and then hold the baby while everyone ate. She wouldn't touch her food. My husband and I would finish waiting. Waiter would ask if mother-in-law wants a box. She'd say no. Mother-in-law would wait until father-in-law finished eating and then pass the baby to father-in-law, even though husband and I had been done. So we would have to wait for mother-in-law to finish her meal. Wish my husband would have had that backbone sooner. Okay, that is kind of weird, but it's kind of weird, but I can understand it to a certain extent. The grandparents want some time with the baby. They don't see it every day. So when you're with them, they do want their time with the baby. Kind of weird, but not so weird that it would set off red flags for me or anything. Extra time with the baby. See, she's smart mother-in-law. She's smart. She knows if she holds the baby and doesn't eat, she can hand it to father-in-law. He can get his kid time while she eats. She's not a dumb mother-in-law. Mother-in-law is very smart. Queen Madge is the third top-rated comment. Says, "Oh man, my mom used to always try and do the mom takeover. If we were eating anywhere, her hope would be a fussy baby so she could give us time and just wander off with him. It never happened, huh? Why are you so mean?" OP says, "Okay, my mom does this too. I was out to lunch with her the other day and he starts to fuss, which is typically because it was his nap time and I knew some stroller rocking and Patsy would knock him out. And she's like, oh, why don't I walk him around in the stroller and you eat? Why are you crying about that? That's normal behavior." Like, these people are weird. Some of those people are weird. Like, that's normal behavior. Like, you eat. You have to, like, juggle this baby all day long. I'm here. I can take care of the baby and you can eat. What's wrong with that? Can somebody tell me in the comments what's wrong with that? Because I'd like to know. Petty Revenge, entitled Stop with the Noise. It really irritates me when someone sits near me at McDonald's and starts playing a video on their phone at full volume. Actually, you shouldn't do that, guys. That is rude, even if it's not full volume. Like, yeah, headphones were invented for a reason. Unfortunately, it happens more often than one would think. No, I know how often it happens. Maybe it's a project of our selfish, uncouth society today. Like most folks, I would just like to enjoy my Egg McMuffin and Diet Coke in peace. Maybe surf Reddit or read an ebook. J- Enjoy the quiet and just be left alone. That reminds me, I gotta get a book. I gotta grab another book to read. Maybe I'll just pay for Project Hail Mary, I'm not sure. I'm sure it's, like, overloaded at my library, so I'd probably have to pay for it if I wanna read it now. Just now, some woman came in and sat at a booth across from me and started up a television program on her phone at full volume. I finally had enough of this crap. While eating my apple slices, I fired up Pandora radio and started playing the Brian Seltzer's Orchestra 29 Mercury Blues at full volume. Guess who just got up and left? I'm going to do this every time some jerk pulls a stunt. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Being old and not giving a crap has a disadvantage. Or you'll be the one that gets kicked out of McDonald's. Professional Bread said this happened to me in a nicer restaurant. Oh no, 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 no. I mean, McDonald's is one thing. Guy was on speakerphone to the point it hurt my ears to hear it louder than the background music and louder than anyone else was talking. That's when you join the conversation. You can do that. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to one day. I couldn't hear my partner because they were so loud and obnoxious. I finally turned and shouted, "Turn off the speaker." They ignored me. I then got up and stared at him and repeated myself. They turned it down lower, but not off. Some people don't understand the concept of dining in restaurants. Geek in Sheik's clothing says some people have never been punched in the face, and it shows. uh, things you choose before things you choose to be. Answers. I think also because people are afraid of being on the and receiving end of psycho violence. These people rarely get challenged at all. Sometimes I don't have the mental energy for a confrontation when my battery level is high. But when my battery level is high, I've just had success politely asking people to stop doing it. Can you not? We're stuck on this bus, train, plane together for now, and you're the only one who wants to listen to that. And then when they turn it off way down, they thanks, appreciate it. Sometimes they make a face, sometimes they apologize. So far, I've not been beaten up or stabbed. Guess it's about picking your battles. Two guys or a couple. I feel like the odds are enough in my favor to make them not want to get physical with the guy who's bold enough to speak out. Large group of women, men or women, mob mentality, crowd bravery is at play. It's probably not worth it. Bring cookies answers. Getting really weird works too. I like to comment on phone conversations people insist on having in public. See, I told you. If you don't like my 2 cents in your situation, then take off speaker, Barbara, because this is currently a group exercise. Things you choose to be answered that. Yeah, this is a really good tactic because people can hardly complain about members of the public chipping in when they make the conversation public. If I'm traveling, I usually have a Bluetooth speaker with me so that whenever I end up, I can listen to somebody's music where appropriate. Sometimes I fantasize about playing clown circus music loudly when someone is blasting their tunes or yakety sax. um, Radio Supply is the second top rated comment. And they say, if someone is listening to a song I know, I'll start singing along. If I don't know all the words, I'll make something up. I'm a cringe middle aged person. So when a group of younger teens was watching something at a table that included a clip of Sandstorm after a long string of others, I started raving with just my arms and stairs. Chair rave, yeah. Looked and body language on them. Dying of secondhand embarrassment was worth it. Adorable Technology says it sounds like something I would do. I like to interrupt speakerphone conversations with, "Sorry, did she just say she has cramps? Maybe some Midol. Oh, wait, you didn't want all of us included in the conversation? Jeez, was just trying to be helpful." Or call a friend on speakerphone and follow them around the store while they talk and talk. They talk and I talk. Jackman says, I was in the hospital in the ICU due to a heart rhythm problem. This was an older unit and was small with a narrow hallway, only curtains instead of doors. The guy in the room across from me was on his phone, talking as loud as he could, it's all caps, on speakerphone, and whoever he was talking to was talking just as loud. The nurse had to ask him to quiet down, but he continued. I was exhausted and just wanted to sleep. I put up with it for about 15 minutes and finally had enough and yelled as loud as I could, "Shut the wang up. Some of us need wanging rest." And it actually worked. He was quiet the rest of the evening. When we were in New York, there was a Yenta couple. There was not individual rooms. It was just curtain bays. And the Yenta couple days bays down was yelling about what time it was, when her room was gonna be ready. It was hilarious. Every, like, 15, 20 minutes. "What time is it? When is my room gonna be ready?" It was great. She was, like, stereotypical Yenta, man. It was great. Next, we have Am I the Jerk? And is entitled AITJ for calling my brother out at a family dinner after he told everyone I have money. So, for the past few months, my brother has apparently telling extended family that I'm loaded and can help people out financially. The reality is that I'm someone who budgets well and has a bit saved on the side. Nothing crazy. Definitely not the ATM he's painting me as. Well, some people think that anybody who has a little bit of money is the ATM, and that's really bad. Like no is a complete sentence, and you can say no. You don't have to. You don't have to fund somebody else's lifestyle. They should live within their means because you're living within yours. Last Sunday, we had a big family thing at my uncle's house, and my cousin pulls me aside mid dinner, asking if I could lend him $2,500 for a car situation. I was so confused, and he goes, "Your brother said you have plenty saved up. I figured it wouldn't hurt to ask, except you're never getting that money back." I walked back inside, just asked him directly in front of everyone why he keeps telling people I have money that I want on stake to throw around. He went completely red and started stumbling over his words, and now half the family is texting me saying I embarrassed him for no reason and I should have pulled him aside privately. No, public humiliation is the only way to deal with that. My girlfriend agrees with them, to be honest, but I was caught completely off guard and just reacted. If he's been doing this for months, why do I have to be the one to protect his feelings at that moment? No, you're not the jerk at all. He is the jerk. West Resource commented, NTJ, guess he fafo. Uh, Gracie says, this sounds like AI. See the second or third last paragraph where the person always says now. Now half of my friends think I'm a jerk in the formula asking if I'm the jerk. Vince says, my question is why would half the family even care enough to text about this later? I don't care if it's AI. I've already said that. He said anonymous says he said something to the whole family. You ask him why in front of the whole family. So now the whole family knows that you're not an ATM. No one is going to ask you for money anymore. Doing it privately would have changed your situation, and your family would have continued to think you have more money than an ATM. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Yep. Tinsel Bunny says, honestly, yeah, dude. Basically advertise you like you're a bank, so calling him out in the same room he created the problem is fair game. He's bold enough to spread nonsense publicly. He can deal with being corrected in public also. Actions meet consequences. Their top rated comment is from Olaz. And it says, NTJ, I'm not sure why he's misleading the family, but I felt it was important to be honest about such a serious matter. Yeah, that's all you got to text him back. Like this was serious and everybody needed to know about it. And everybody needed to know about it at the same time. Don't come to me. Don't come on back to me. This was his deal. Next, we have entitled people, and it's entitled Student Wants Very First Appointment, Screw Everyone Else. I used to teach GED courses for adults, non-profit program that was free to all students. At the end of every session, we'd schedule one-on-one meetings with all students to assess where they still needed help. This one lady, Gwen, had been there about 4 years before I started. Normally, if a student hasn't passed the test within 2 years, 8 sessions, 3 months each, so that's 6 months of 6 months of work. We'd ask them to leave the program since we need the spot. That makes perfect sense. It provided an incentive for both teachers and students to do well. I don't know why Gwen was still there, but anyway. So we passed the sign up sheet around in class. Gwen wants it first. No one else seems to mind whatsoever. She signs up for the first spot, 9 a.m. Friday, or Monday, sorry. 9 a.m. Monday, fine. But then teachers realize there are more students than spots for the first time in the program's history. So after the first class, we add more spots, 8 and 8:30 a.m. to each day. All students now have spots, and we put up the schedule to remind everyone. Great. But right after class, I'm grading essays. I get a call from Gwen. She wants to change her time slot. Of course she does. I asked her why 9 a.m. would no longer work for her since she was so eager to sign up for that specific spot. She says nothing has changed. She just wants to be the first one. I'm sorry, what? Two people going before her affects her schedule in no way. It's not like we gave away her spot. I told her she's welcome to talk to the person in the 8 a.m. slot to see if they want to switch, but we're not changing it around without talking to that person. Gwen wasn't having it. She wanted that spot now. I told her that wasn't happening. Her spot was perfectly fine. She'd have her time to discuss her needs. We weren't taking that away. But Gwen just persisted. She had to have the first spot. Finally, I put her on hold and asked the social worker how to deal with this. She told me if Gwen wasn't being reasonable, I could hang up on her. So I did. I made another teacher. I made another teacher who had her for math. So it's not like this person was a stranger. Take the meeting with Gwen since I couldn't deal with her entitlement anymore. Yeah, that's Crazy Eagle says Gwen should be booted out of the course, paying student or not. She's not only incompetent but also entitled. Yes. Stocks out. It said it's free, and you're right. If Gwen can't pass a GED after 4 years of study, they need to free up the space for someone who can. Yeah, especially since they had more students and slots for the first time ever. Gwen's taking up a spot for somebody else. Old man Kibitzer was second rate, top rate comment and says, I know you want to tell her that the first spot is for students that actually will pass the class or course. That's a good way to handle it. Vindictive Diary says a 4 year student occupying a free spot in a 62-year academic timeline is no longer seeking an education. She's seeking a subsidized social group. Gwen's presence is a factual administrative failure that has allowed an institutional parasite to drain resources from actual motivated candidates. Her demand to be first is not driven by scheduling conflict, but by a desperate psychological need to exert dominance over a system she has comfortably exploited for 16 consecutive sessions. The most effective way to handle a chronic time waster is a dial tone. Vindictive approved. Becca's the third top rated comment, and it's a quote thing. Quote, Dear Miss Glenn, we understand that you are upset about not getting a specific time slot for this program. However, we have advised you that we cannot simply switch your time with someone else. You need to ask that student if they are willing to switch the time. If you continue to harass our staff, we will hear about you harassing students over this. We will ask you to leave the program. We have been more than accommodating as of now, considering you've been in this program longer than what is usually allowed. Unquote. That's what I would have told her on the phone anyway. No, I would have sent that to her in an email. And honestly, if she asked the 8 a.m. student if they wanted to switch, they'd probably be perfectly willing because who wants to get up that early? Right? Right? Am I wrong? Okay, this is from Expectation versus Reality, and it is entitled Rainbow Trout Manicure. And let's see how this goes. This is adorable. If you not want nails like this, I know a girl. She has a studio in Brighton, Michigan. Um, oh, that's cute. It's not quite as fancy. It doesn't have the sparklies. That's what it doesn't have. It has everything but the sparklies. And it needed to be a bit darker, but it's pretty good. It's not the worst. Girl I know probably would have done a better job. She would have done it perfect. Dave says, it's a first comment and it says fishing for compliments on your nails. Equinox Potato says, you caught me, haha. I thought they were alluring. Grand Soul says, I see, SEA, through your deception. Not an actual person says, you two need to get real. REEL. They are very catchy. Yes, but that's not taking account the scale of the problem. I'd say they look a slightly unfinished. Nothing a little shimmer wouldn't fix. Claude says, would you say OP fell for it? Hook, line, and sinker? Orange Alligator says they're beautiful. I love them. If I didn't chew my nails to stumps, I would get my own fish nails. They are very cute, especially for somebody who likes fishing. That'd be excellent. Simply Seeking says I honestly can say I've never seen anything like that before, and it's in a good way. I'm glad it's in a good way. All right, it's that time. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I like to go live at least 4 times a week, usually about noon Eastern time. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies, tell your neighbors, tell your nail person. If you have a story of your own or come across a good one in the wild, please send us an email entitled submission. If you would like an email link to the day's current live, send an email entitled subscribe. The email is biddybrunchbunch, all one word, at gmail.com, and the email address is down in the description. Next, we have a real estate, and it is entitled Mom, Am I Dreaming?" um, this is in Portland, Oregon. And why did it do that? I clicked on the map instead of the. Where are the pictures? There are no pictures because it's off the market. Doggone it. All right, we'll have to do the pictures that they posted in the post, which aren't. Mm, I, that's a nice little house. It's $850,000 though. There's a little tiny balcony down here and a big balcony up here. Nice entryway. Yeah, the decking needs a little work. I know somebody could take care of that. Just let me know. Oh, I love that door. That's beautiful. I like a good what do you call it, landing area. I'm assuming the bookcases stay. That's nice. Carpet could use an update, but that's okay. I like the fireplace. Yeah, it's not a bad little house at all. Nice large living room, big open kitchen. I love the kitchen. Actually, that looks a lot like mine. Oh, maybe I should do the door handles. Always trying to find. Oh no, I need handles on these too. I'm always trying to find new handles because they haven't been switched out since we bought the house. And you'll have to supply your own refrigerator, I think. And this stove is in a weird place. I don't like that because you're gonna have grease everywhere. No, I don't like where the stove is at all. Is this a dining room? I hope this is a dining room because those lights are not a thing. Can lights in the bathrooms? Oh, can lights like that in the bathroom. I shouldn't say anything. My bathroom has can lights, but not like that. It's a nice bathroom. I don't like that the bathroom has the same cabinetry as the kitchen. It's kind of weird. That is a big cat counter. That's a big counter. Upstairs? Is there another kitchen upstairs? Is this a second kitchen? There's a second kitchen, you guys. Is this 2 apartments? Because I am so confused right now. That's it. Um, go back to the listing. Built in 1979. It's almost half an acre lot. Oops. Let me on. It's almost half an acre lot. 5 bedrooms, 4 baths. Finished basement, has fireplace. Has forced air heating. Um, not much on it. The expl or the little spiel is gone. Property taxes are $11,476. That's higher than in California. Greedy Big says that dang the listing pics don't show any more of this space. It looks amazing. It does look nice. Uh, Mall to this, he says, I live near that house, and if you want to add to the dream, there's a huge family of roaming peacocks in the neighborhood. Yeah, but those are loud. Have you ever heard of peacock? They're loud. Go to the zoo. They always have peacocks screaming all over the place. Winter Phoenix says in nightmares at night when they scream. Uh, New Standard says I get Brady Bunch vibes. Your drunk stepdaddy says my first thought was, does it come with Alice? It's funny. Cultural Pattern says I actually like this house. It has personality, function, and is bright and looks lived and loved in. Yeah. Broad Tie says it's one of the most livable houses I've seen in a long time. I wish they'd still made them like this. I wouldn't even update that much except getting rid of the carpet for allergies. I'd get rid of the carpet too because it looks old. Signs with a story. Guests of guests may not bring guests. Well, that doesn't seem very welcoming. Excurator says the story is that a guest of a guest guessed wrong about their guest. Ted Anderson says this is how high school parties get out of control. uh, my mom's tasty. That's just disgusting. What is wrong with you? Your plus one doesn't get a plus one unless you down. Next we have confession, and it is not safe for work, so be warned. I lied to a hookup about being on birth control, and I regret it. Somebody pregnant. This has been eating me alive for a while, and I need to confess because I feel crappy about it. A couple of years ago, I had a casual fling with a guy, nothing serious. Just one of those rare free nights when kid stuff lined up. We skipped condoms because I told him I was on birth control and I was fine to go raw, but it wasn't on anything. But I wasn't on anything. I said that so we wouldn't have to stop or mess with them. And yeah, part of me got off on the risk in the heat of it. Nothing came of it. Oh, good. No scare, no pregnancy. But looking back, it was winged up and straight up dishonest. It was. Thank goodness nothing, there were no, more dire consequences. I regret lying and taking that risk. It was selfish and I feel guilty for deceiving him like that, casual or not. I haven't pulled that since and I've always made sure protection is non-negotiable negotiable now. Still, I feel like a bad person for it. Has anyone else wanged up like this and how do you get past the guilt? Well, first of all, you don't have anything to feel really guilty about because nothing came of it. Um, Second of all, you should have still used protection because it's not just protection for pregnancy. It's also protecting yourself from diseases that you don't want to have. Captain Smarty says, lesson for gals, don't do this. OP was lucky. Lesson for guys, always wrap it up no matter what they say. Exactly. Um, bro, Brobach, bro, Brobocop. Oh, Brobocop. Brobocop. I get it now. I get it. They put the zeros in for O's and it just doesn't make sense to me. It takes me a minute. Robocop. I get it. I get it now. Says also birth control doesn't prevent the spread of STDs, so even if they're telling the truth, still wrap it up. Yep, 100%. Somebody has a whole STD lesson in here, and I'm not reading that. It looks good, but I'm not reading it. Um, Thresher says, I winged up by listening to the same story and not wearing a condom. We were pretty freshly into a relationship and very young. I was dumb and horny, and our baby is 31 now. The mom and I are still together, and we have three more. I have no regrets about becoming a father, but I have regrets about the struggles we faced. I can understand that. I'm glad that it worked out, and you're very lucky that it worked out with the mom because because that almost never happens. Complete lost, completely lost says, there's a third top rated comment. It says, if a guy taking a comment off without consent is rape, is this also rape? Yeah. Yeah, it is in a way. It is in a way. Sador says, in my eyes, yes, because OP was dishonest and the guy, as we know, only consented to unprotected sex under the knowledge that she was on birth control. Yeah. 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 Everybody's agreeing that it is. So don't lie, girls. You can get in trouble. You should be able to get in trouble just as much as guys do if you do crap like that. Interesting AF. I'm not even reading the title because it's too good. Okay, it's about a street catch. A street cat. It says I'll read it now. Got a street cat to catch a mouse in my house. Oh, I got a review. There we go. That's a that mouse as big as that cat. You wouldn't expect that little tiny cat to catch a giant rat. Oh, she got it. She got it and she went outside with it. Good for her. Good little kitty cat. I swear that mouse as big as the cat. Senorita Spock says contracting the locals. Del Taco for Life says, I like how the cat was first like, bruh, what the WTF are you doing? Oh, I see. Ammo says, what a crap mouse, it didn't even move. Next, we have Emma the A-hole, and it is entitled AITA for not sending my niece's dad updates after he kicked her out. No. Why would, no. He kicked her out. He doesn't get deserve any updates at all. My niece Amy, 15, has been living with me for 4 years. Wow. Her mom left when she was 2. Her dad and grandparents gave her a good life, private schools, competitive sports, etc. Then her grandparents passed away when she was 7 and 9. Okay. One grandparent when she was 7 and one when she was 9. That's terrible. Poor kid. Her dad married Grace when Amy was 10. Grace had 3 kids, 2 older than Amy and 1 younger. Amy never got along with Grace or her kids. Grace had no intention of being a mother to Amy, but still insisted that her father treat all the kids equally. Amy's a horrible person. Amy, or no, Grace, sorry. Amy's fine. Grace, you're not Grace. You're not full of grace. You're a horrible person. You're full of meanness. Leaving Amy to get pulled out of her school activities because she couldn't afford it for everyone, which caused Amy to act out. After a year, Grace gave Amy's dad an ultimatum: either Amy goes or she does. And he chose He chose her over his own kid. Also, crap father. Well, crap father for putting up with Grace in the first place, acting like that. Next thing I know, Amy's getting shipped across the country to my place. It was rough at first, but after a lot of therapy and me doing everything I can to prove that I won't leave, well, yeah, she's doing great. Yeah, this kid's got to have abandonment issues. Like everything's abandoned her. Her father s- chose a stupid Grace woman over her. I don't like Grace at all, and I don't like her father. She does well in school, and I got her back into sports. Contact with her dad has been minimal. He calls around Christmas and her birthday, and he's visited twice. Twice in 4 years. You have visited your daughter twice in 4 years, sir. 8 months ago, Amy was diagnosed with a serious life threatening illness. Oh no. We ended up moving to be closer to some of the top specialists. As of now, things are getting under control. I never told her dad about the illness because he never asked. Her dad found out that Amy was sick through a family member's Facebook post. He's been calling and texting me, furious that I never told him about Amy's illness. Well, you didn't care about her before. Why are you worried about her now? Asking if I know how bad it is to find out that his kid is severely ill from Facebook. Well, maybe you should have had more contact with your daughter and she would have told you, sir. Threatening to take me to court to get my custody revoked. Yeah, that's not likely to happen. Losing custody is highly unlikely, but I plan to talk to Amy about pursuing adoption just in case. When I talked to some friends about the situation, they all think I should have at least texted Amy's dad and given him a chance to visit Amy when she was sick, especially back when we didn't know what was going to happen. I'm wondering if I was being too petty by not telling him that she was sick. If he wanted to know she was sick, he should have had some contact with somebody. Earl always says, NTA, he gave up his kid the second he agreed to that ultimatum. He gave up updates, visits, and anything she does. You were not wrong for focusing on her rather than him. There's a deleted comment deleted by the moderator for some reason. Somebody answers that. Not sure he cares about the kid as much as he does about how bad he looks on Facebook because he didn't know about her illness. Randy Plum answers, bingo, he just got big mad. Now people can see what a horrible father he is and that he missed out on an opportunity to look like a caring dad who wants everybody's support. All he does was such a terrible thing for any parent to have to go through. Odd Sprinkle says, what did Amy want? She's 15, not 4. She didn't want you to contact her dad, NTA. Oh, there's so many deleted comments. Somebody says, Amy also had the ability to contact her father, and she didn't. Exactly. She wanted him to know, she would have told him. Hunter says, NTA, I'll wang that. You don't owe her sperm donor or anything. Would have been nice, sure. Necessary? No. He abandoned his 11-year-old for a relationship with someone who hates his kid. He doesn't keep in contact with her, and he has seen her twice in 4 years. Are you kidding me? He doesn't get to play concerned father after what he's done. I have no doubt that if he tries to get custody, which let's be honest is an empty threat, Grace would never allow that. He would be decimated in court. Not only that, she's 15 and has say in custody, but considering how minimal his contact has been with her, he should fit the definition of abandonment. Talk to Amy and see what she wants and consult a lawyer as needed. As for him, it was his responsibility to check on his daughter. He never did. That's on him. Environmental art says he would be quotes he would be decimated in court, and then she does the court. Sperm donor. I want my daughter back. OP withheld vital medical info regarding my child from me. Judge, how did she withhold vital information? Sperm donor. She never told me. Judge, why does she know more about your child's health than you do? Sperm donor, because she never told me. Judge, why is it her job to tell you medical information about your child? Sperm donor, because I sent my child to her when my wife made me choose. Judge, getting pissed. How much contact have you had since? Sperm donor, I call her for every birthday and Christmas. Judge, and sperm donor refused to answer. Edit, call for birthday and Christmas, not birthday, not present for birthday. Midlife surprise says he's not present for every birthday. I think she may have edited that. Yeah, she did edit it. That's okay. That's okay. He calls her for birthday on birthday and Christmas. Two lousy phone calls a year. And Hunter says, and I doubt he's been paying the child support to OP since Grace wouldn't like that. Celtic Kira says, Judge, and why does the minor no longer live with you? The answer to that alone would really wang the sperm donor over legally. Yeah, exactly. I've watched enough court to know that a judge would not like that at all. A decent judge, which most of them are. Chika Chik Chitaku says, "I would consult a family law attorney. If there wasn't a legal setup in place, the sorry excuse of a dad probably owes OP some coin for taking care of his kid after shipping her off and abandoning his parental duties. Heck, dad might be in some legal trouble too. I don't know. They seem to be able to stay out of legal trouble when it comes to their kids." Overheard at CVS picking up a script. Man on his phone. I'd rather take a covered winging wagon through Donner Pass with the dead in the dead of winter with a wagon full of cannibals than fly American. Find another flight now. Empty selection says, to be fair, he's not wrong. Spudbanger says, I met an Arab who said, why did you say that? Who said flying United was like being renditioned. I don't know what that means. Somebody deleted their comment. Yeah. Mental artist says somebody played a lot of Oregon Trail as a youngin. I just played Oregon Trail the other day when we mentioned it. You can play it for free online. Just look up Oregon Trail and it'll pop right up for you. I don't know how much it's. I never played it back in the day, so I don't know. Outrageous Bet said this sparked a memory. When I lived in Northern California, a friend would make dinner reservations for Donner family of 8. Old Turtle said that they remembered to call back and change it to 7. Dark humor. Dark humor. It's okay to have dark humor. This is from True Off My Chest, and it's entitled My Husband Disgusts Me. I literally can't stand him anymore. We've been together for 6 years, married for 1. We have an 8-month-old kid together. He's always been on the bigger side, but about a year and a half ago, he's just ballooned. Quite literally, is about 400 pounds. That's unhealthy. I understand people do change, but he just won't do anything to fix it. He has no energy and is constantly falling asleep. He even falls asleep while driving. It's legitimately terrifying. He needs to go see a doctor about that. I begged him to go to the doctor so many times. He hasn't once in the entire time we've been together. He says he'll do it, but he never does. He's on my insurance, so I know he's covered. I'm the main breadwinner, working 60 plus hours a week. He was fired from his job right after New Year's due to A, calling out too much, and B, literally falling asleep at the front counter standing up. That is not normal behavior and needs to be looked into. If he's doing this while he's driving, he's gonna kill himself or somebody else. That is not safe. You need to call the cops and have them take care of him because that's not right. I still care about him, but I can't stand him. I don't want to kiss him. I cringe away when he tries to cuddle. He constantly stinks now. I have to hold my breath if I'm just trying to scoot past him to grab something in his proximity. I've suggested couples counseling. I've suggested going for walks around the neighborhood or going to the gym together. Well, I'd probably fall asleep and fall over. You don't want to take him to the gym or walk around the block. I'm already back to the same size I was before I got pregnant. I'm doing all I can to take care of myself and our kid, but I refuse to be his mom. It's just so heartbreaking. If he doesn't do something soon, I honestly don't think I can stay in this relationship. Cancerous Carbuncle says he doesn't want to go to the doctor because he knows it's a huge issue. He's trying to be in denial as long as possible, hoping it just goes away. And it's not going to go away. Giggle Tear says, yeah, it'll go away when he dies. Okay, get your husband to the doctor ASAP. What's a Simba says, she says she's begged him countless times and he'll eventually agree to go, but then doesn't. At a certain point, you can only save yourself and your kid. Alone in my room says this is what happened to my late husband. He refused to see a doctor for his health and he died because of it. Miss Jackson says you could try counseling or you could just file, but don't do nothing. Rogue Slytherin says, "Oh, that's a really bad person, a rogue Slytherin." Or they're a really nice person. It could go either way. It's a 50-50. I think the best thing to do is have an honest conversation. Tell him that. You're concerned about his health. His weight is deeply concerning and impacting daily life for him and his child. Him falling asleep, standing up, and constantly is dangerous. He could get himself killed, you or your child killed, if he does so while driving. Uh, and then they add the previous issue is typically occurs more frequently in obese individuals. Could point to another any number of issues, congestive heart failure, diabetes, sleep apnea, etc., none of which are helpful to one's longevity. You find it difficult to be with him intimately as the resentment from being the only employed and able-bodied adult in the house has put an unfair burden on you to prove everything to everyone. Furthermore, his weight is also making it difficult for him to find him physically attractive. These are bullet points. Bullet point 2, you are worried about his relationship with your son suffering as a result of his health. What will he do when your son wants to play catch, backyard football, go on a hike, learn to fish, etc.? Won't he be disappointed missing out on so many firsts and quality time with his own child? I don't think he cares about the kid at all. Is he at all concerned about the potential early death that would leave his son without a father and a wife without a husband? Bullet point 3. While you love him for the relationship to work, he needs to attend individual therapy. The weight gain should be a symptom of depression, binge eating disorder, etc. Additionally, he needs to agree that to couples therapy and seeing a nutritionist to get your marriage and his diet slash exercise on track. Bullet 4, you need to be very honest with him that if he's not willing to put in the effort, you will be seeking a divorce. It's hard, but this difficult conversation needs to be had sooner rather than later. uh, our throwaway says, as far as driving goes, he's not allowed to drive the kid or OP around anymore. At 100%. Rat says, how about no driving at all so he doesn't kill anyone else either? OP says, I've attempted to have conversations previously. I've started asking him to go to the doctor about 2 years ago, just before I got pregnant and his weight got out of control. I will say I didn't take the best care of myself when we first got together due to depression and untreated ADHD, but I realized it wasn't healthy and changed. He would always say he would and then wouldn't. His mom has made multiple comments to me about being concerned for his health. His best friend went to school for some type of medical degree, can't remember which. He's an office manager at a local clinic. He offered multiple times to help my husband. He is certainly certain my husband has sleep apnea. The last time I attempted a conversation, I told him he needed to go to the doctors. He had to figure out what was going on. I told him that I didn't find him attractive anymore and that if something didn't change, I didn't know what our future would look like. It's just every time I try to have a difficult conversation, it's like he shuts down and he hardly responds unless I specifically prompt him to. It's difficult. Due to the hours I work, unfortunately, he does need to drive our kid to his mom's parents' house to watch them during the day. No. Why are you letting him drive your kid around? No. He's been door dashing while unemployed to keep with the bills, but hasn't attempted to find another job since he was fired. No. He's gonna kill your kid. He's gonna kill your kid, and then where will you be? Next we have What Do I Do? And it's entitled My 37 male partner, 35 female, just told me she might be gay after being together for 5 years. Well, that sucks for both of you. Um, but it does happen, and sometimes it takes people time to figure things out. Um, Especially when they've been told all their lives that they shouldn't be that way and have repressed it. My partner and I have been together for 5 years. The relationship was going fantastically. Well, for you, it was. We've had our ups and downs for sure, but our communication and honesty with one another has never stopped. We have been looking at engagement rings together and we're getting close to buying a house too. Unfortunately, my partner's little sister, 27 female, took her own life 6 months ago. Well, that's heartbreaking. I was the person who found her and performed CPR until the medics arrived. We have all been awful since this, but no one more so than my partner. They were very, very close. Things have been difficult since, but the open communication hasn't stopped. We've been supporting each other as best we can while we navigate this grief and trauma. About 2 months ago, we went on a weekend road trip getaway. We had organized to clear our heads about a bit. Sorry. While out for dinner, my partner tells me she hasn't felt romantic love for me since her sister passed. I mean, that's might not be that unusual. She said specifically, the grief is overwhelming and I don't feel romantic love for you at the moment. I love you still, I just don't feel the same anymore. And that if you asked me to marry you right now, I'd say no. I reassured her that it makes a lot of sense as her world has changed in her sister passing, and that's okay if she doesn't feel romantic for now for a while. We talked more that night about how this getaway was Meyer made maybe for a change of scenery and about how I didn't think it would be an appropriate time to ask her since she is grieving so hard. Since that chat, our relationship was back to being fantastic again. For you, sure, we were still dealing with the ups and downs of grief and trauma, but relationship itself is strong. Lots of communication, support, starting to feel more fun again. The first time since the sister's passing. Today we were chatting in bed my dinner and my partner blurts out, I think I might be a lesbian. This came as a massive shock, even though she has always been bi. Okay, so see, takes some time to figure things out sometimes. You're not married, so you don't have to deal with that. She then said, I don't know. I think I'm attracted to men and women, or do I just think that I grew up in a hetero society? I was just shocked and said, if you're truly a lesbian, then that's why we break up. It will suck, but it will be okay. They responded, I don't know. I love you so much. I just feel like my whole life changed and now I should change. I'm so confused. She needs therapy. I'm so unsure what to do or support should we access. We are already seeing trauma psychologists and grief counselors separately. I honestly don't care if she ends up a lesbian and we break up. I just want to help and support the person I love with her sister's passing. If that is, if that, and if at the end of it she realizes I'm not for her, this is what it is. So you sound very, this sounds like a very nice guy, you know? So it'll be fine. If she decides that you're not for her, some girl is going to scoop you up so fast because you deserve that, sir. Aggressive Web said, dude, I just came here to say that from the information you shared, you handled this with grace and true empathy. You are a badass man for handling this the way you have. I don't have any advice to share. I just want to give you some kudos for the way you've been navigating a really challenging time. Amen. 100%. Extension drawer says, I just came here to say this. I keep waiting for him to kind of lose his cool or set some hard boundary. Nope, just grace, empathy, and understanding through a major bombshell after a major bombshell. Yeah, he's the man. He's the man. ATX says this is not about sexuality. This is about grief, and grief can do some weird crap to your head. That's true too. I went through something very similar when my mother died. Not only could I not feel anything romantic or sexual for my husband, whom I love deeply, for a long time it was hard for me to just have fun, any kind of fun. Looking back, I think it felt like if my mother could not have any fun anymore, then I shouldn't either. Yeah, my husband kind of did that when his mom died. I understand that. It took me a long time to move through that grief, and you never really get over it, but you can get through it. Whether or not you're able to, or and willing to move through it with her is a choice you need to make. Don't turn this into a sexual thing because it isn't, but do hold off on that proposal. Yeah, 100%. The Jack Fairy says this is it. I think she needs therapy to deal with the grief, and then she can have emotional space to realize who she is. OP, you're a supportive king. Whatever happens, she couldn't be with a better person right now. Hopefully everything works out for both of you. And the third top rated comment is from Chromatica. It says, this sounds like grief. Perhaps it might be the fact that she can't feel any attraction to you right now out of the grief she's feeling is making her think she's just gay, or maybe she's gained clarity. Who knows? You both need grief counseling that'll help you navigate through this together. Yeah, exactly. I can't imagine losing a sister that I was really super close to like that. That would be horrible. Next, we have entitled parents, and it is entitled. I've been my mom's ATM for years, and she went full Tony Soprano over $60. I've loaned my mom money for years. You shouldn't have to do that. I'll pay you back Friday type of stuff. She almost never does, and I stopped expecting it. Last week I was short and borrowed $60 from her. I planned to send it back the next day, but I got food poisoning and was basically dead for 24 hours. I paid her 1 day late. Today, a huge guy shows up at my door saying he's there to collect. I legit thought it was a scam at first. Nope, my mom sent him. Girl, no contact with your mom. She does not deserve you. It's not about the $60, it's the humiliation and the message. She can take from me for years, but if I slip once, she'll intimidate me. I've even tossed my budget to Money GPT because I was spiraling, and it basically confirmed that I can't afford to keep her being her backup. Of course not. How do you deal with a parent like this? Do you cut them off fully? Do you warn them once? I feel shaken and honestly kind of scared. First of all, I stop giving them money, and they'll take care of the rest. Kramer J says, "Nah, this is too far effed. You cut them off completely, ruthlessly, and go no, absolutely no contact. Napalm that white winging relationship." Samin says, "Absolutely, completely. They sound like they're about 12 steps past that point. Hell, I might even file a police report just so that it's documented. Who knows what they'll do when their ATM is cut off?" Yeah, definitely. Like, tell the police, at least keep a trail. Like, they're not going to do anything, and you can tell them, I don't expect you to do anything, but I want this written down in case something happens in the future. Child free atheist says, "This is if this is real, stop sending her money. If you decide to keep sending her money, show up at her door on Saturday with a big burly friend demanding to collect." Moss Suicide says, she will just go ballistic and say, how dare her child do such a thing for their mother. The double standard is always so absurd. Fully no contact and never send any money. Block phone number. If another burly man shows up at my door sent by my mother, the police will be called. Will be called. Yeah. There's this guy here. Classic Ice Teas quoted, "Do you cut him off fully?" And they just say yes. I wouldn't. Honestly, I wouldn't. If you do not give her money, she will take care of it. She will cut you off. It'll be fine. And it'll be on her. And you won't have to deal with her whining and crying and trying to find you and all of that. Because she won't. This is from Oh No Consequences, and it is entitled OOP's mother and sister have embarrassed themselves in front of the guests during OOP's wedding. It's from originally from Best of Predator Updates and was entitled I Don't Want My Sister's Boyfriend to Propose on My Wedding Day. And that is a perfectly legitimate not want. Original post was July 24th, 2024. But everyone is against me, and my mom said I was ungrateful because my parents are paying for the wedding. The wedding is on Saturday. I don't know. That doesn't seem like it's the entire post. No, okay, it is. That's how she starts it. Okay, I'll start over then. But everyone is against me, and my mom said I was ungrateful because my parents are paying for the wedding. The wedding is on Saturday, and they just told me last Monday this was going to be part of his speech. I said no, so my mom suggested that I would, instead of tossing the bouquet, go and give it to her like a TikTok and he would propose. And I said no. My mom got angry, and I said, please no, because this suggestion would be the end of my party anyway. It won't, and it wouldn't steal from my party. Yes, it would. I'm not good at writing these things. I'm so sorry if I left out plenty, but I can't stop crying. AITAH. No. Sometimes I feel that I am, and sometimes I feel that I'm not. No, this is your wedding. You deserve all of the attention. You and your fiance, soon to be spouse, deserve all of the attention. I want to stay anonymous, so I will not be answering any questions about my location or names. Nobody cares about your location or names. Additional information on OOP from growing up with her sister at her parents' house. OOP, yes, I've never had a birthday of my own growing up. Always my sister, too, would get a cake and candles and gifts. What the heck? And people refused to buy gifts for both So my parents divided the gifts between us. That's not cool. When I was 12, my aunt was very angry that they gave her gift to my sister instead of me. So the next birthday, they hid all the gifts from other people and gave them to me after the party without my sister's knowledge because people refused to share the gifts between us. They should have just given you your freaking gifts. That was my last birthday that I celebrated until I moved out. I told them I didn't want birthdays or gifts anymore, just pancakes for breakfast. Oh, you poor kid. That's terrible. Relevant comments. Peanut says, if I was a woman and my boyfriend proposed to me at my sister's or anyone's wedding, that would be a swift no in front of everyone who matters to him. OOP says it was something she showed interest in and her boyfriend got the gesture. Round Robin says, wait, your sister wants her boyfriend to propose at your wedding? I mean, I'm already on your side and you're NTA. OOP says, that's what I understand from my mom. I asked her why she would even think my sister wants to be proposed to like that. And she says that she has shown and hinted to her boyfriend that she would love that because everyone would witness it. Well, not his family. His family's not going to be there. OOP on if her sister is younger than her and their mother is calling the sister her favorite one. OOP says she's 3 years younger than me. Um, no, I've always known she's the favorite, but now they are not even denying it. Pale Wishbone says, get your husband to say his speech how pleased he is that his beautiful wife is getting her special day, and anyone planning on spoiling that by announcing babies, proposing, or even just football resorts results can leave now. Then he will look like an a-hole if he does it. Also, make sure the bouquet goes anywhere but to your sister, and prime the DJ to switch the mic off if he tries. You need to fight fire with fire. Also, kick them out if they do. Have security ready. Substantial agency says, NTA, I just cancel the wedding, waste their money, save and pay for yourself. Do it your way. OOP says, I can't cancel a wedding. It would be very disrespectful for everyone who took the time and effort to attend. No, it wouldn't. Your sister can have her proposal party. It's fine. My friends and family, my husband's family, I love these people. Not my mom and my sister's boyfriend very much at the moment. OOP on if there would be an open mic at the wedding and responds to preventing the proposal from happening. OOP says no, but besides a mother of maid of honor and best man parents, it is free mic, and I guess my mother would call him up as the plan. We are definitely cancel free mic. It's sad that you have to do that. Update August 15th, 2024. New reader, please check my first post. Hi, I'm sorry for not updating earlier. This is my update. My husband and I read all the comments to my post, and I want to thank you for your indignation on our behalf. Then my husband said that this is probably would be the reaction everywhere, not only on my post. So we decided them embarrassing themselves was the best punishment. We decided to, well, wing it. I'm marrying my best friend, and nothing else matters. I ignored my family for the rest of the week up until my wedding, and I was busy anyway. I saw them first at the wedding. My mother had made her speech, and then she asked my, I guess, future brother-in-law now to join her. He proposed and literally two or three clapped besides my mother and sister, and the rest looked like the meme girl, side-eye Chloe. So my husband was right. After the awkwardness, the rest of the evening was amazing. I spent it with my husband and close friends. My sister, fiance, and mom sat sulking for the rest of the night because I didn't think anyone went to congratulate them. Good. Good for this audience. I love them. OP, you have great friends, and your husband has a great family. I love it. Mom sent me a text later asking if I sabotaged it. I didn't answer because, like, leave me alone. I'm on my honeymoon. I don't want drama, but I also don't care what she believes. I will both explain myself. I will not explain myself. She put bot. I will not explain myself. It is not my problem how little self awareness they have, that they don't even understand what they did was actually frowned upon by normal people. Thank you. Relevant comments. Imagine the memory of your proposal being a group of people just side eyeing you. No celebration or happiness at all from them. No matter what happens, she'll never be able to change that. Ain't karma a bitch. Jade Chemical says, um, the wedding guests understood the assignment. I love it. I love that. Um, Top comment is from the Rob Show, and it's entitled, "If I was at that wedding, I would have loudly booed and even shouted something about how you don't do that at someone else's wedding." Enunciate profanity, says a loud ew from somewhere in the back. Severed Eye says, reminds of the time that some lady kept trying to justify wearing white to a wedding because it complemented her skin tone and that it was more important than not wearing white. Janice Ho says, I remember the bride was her blind cousin. Severed Eye says, I forgot about that part. The cousin and the fiance were both blind, so she was like, it doesn't matter, as if people wouldn't talk about it. And then they have a link. The third top right comment is from You're Too Drunk. And it is, uh, she says, or they say, Mom asked if I sabotaged it. OOP's mother has zero self awareness. And the OP that, OP, not OOP, says, it's even ironic that OOP and her husband didn't do anything but let them humiliate themselves. Honestly, that's awesome. Next, we have mildly infuriating, and it is entitled, Sometime during the last 2 years, I have been doing this to my orthopedic practice, and they started to declare me as MTF, male to female transgender, for absolutely no reason. This is present history of present illness. Patient is a 26-year-old biological male, identifying as a female who has pain to the left neck, trap, and clavicle. Oop. Her pain gets worse later on in the day. Tylenol, blah, 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 is described. History of present illness. Patient is a 25-year-old female postal carrier who comes in 2 weeks. She says the pain feels like when you drop something. I, female 26, have been going to the orthopedic practice for almost 2 years for varying reasons relating to my job. Obviously, a postal carrier, which I imagine, carrying a bag around, walking all day, it's going to cause some, what do you call it? Excessive, repetitive movement issues. Yesterday, I checked on a document that was uploaded to find out they have been identifying me as a biological male, identifying as female. I'm biologically female and never told them I was trans, or do I think I'm presenting to be trans woman? The last 2 years, I've been wondering why they stare at me a little longer than a usual person does, and I think because they randomly think I came out as trans. Also, I feel like they do not treat my issues seriously and wonder if this is the reason why. Very, very likely. I'm 100% fine with trans people, but I am left to believe that they have been medically treating me as a male compared to a female for the pains I'm feeling. Well, maybe that might be better, actually, honey. I also went through all my documents at the end of 2024. They started to declare me as male to female transgender. I didn't look at any of the documents online until yesterday. So they switched it sometime between October of 2024 and March 11th of 2026. That's insanity. Update. So far, I still don't know how to edit post. I sent a scathing message to the patient portal regarding the negligence of this all. I also called the patient liaison board, and she said this started when they had to start legally asking patients their gender and what they identify, as to which they never asked me any of that other than my regular gender, which I gave them in 2024. I asked if they would assume this, and she replied no. She said she would contact someone to correct my gender on my profile, but they can't edit any of the documents, so I'm stuck with that. Oh, that's BS, man. Anyway, in my scathing message, I included that I'm no longer using their practice and will find an orthopedic doctor elsewhere. Those are the only updates for now. Maybe I will also report them to the Office of Quality Monitoring if I can find the time. Organic Yodel says you were assigned male, MAIL. Gauntlet says post op. Totally Moon says, my doctor has me listed as having two children. I have two cats. Pretty sure it's the AI thing they use to take notes. Um, this is how it is and it bad says, yep. OP is female male man. OP is female male man. Not Tart says, I'm actually dying. That's probably exactly what happened. Solo Shot first says, I 100% this is what AI would do. We're doomed. And Cup Holdery says, OP stated they are cooked. OP wants to be eaten. There are five top recipes to prepare OP for consumption. Second top rated comment, or is this third? This is third. Art Deco says, have you corrected them yet? If so, what was the response? And that was before the response. Down quite a ways is a message, is a comment from Blue Willow. It says, as someone who does reviews prior authorizations, I cannot begin to tell you how painful AI chart notes are to read. They often do not state enough or do too much of absolutely nothing at the same time. Most common I see is a misdiagnosis or rediagnosis for the wrong thing. For example, saying someone is pre-diabetic because their A1C is stable at 5.3%, but they are currently on GLP-1, so it would make sense. However, they had an A1C of 7.8 last year, so they are definitely type 2. This ends in denials and appeals for no reason. I think a lot of doctors' offices must not have the time to go over what is sometimes 3 to 6 pages of chart notes for the dozens of patients they see per day and hundreds of charts they have to sign off on per week. I'll add that the language most often looks like R73.3 pre-diabetic patients, A1C is 5.3, down from 6.1. Good job getting numbers down. Encourage diet and refer to nutritionists. Since some insurance companies look for type 2 diabetes diagnosis, they don't see the E66 something or related ICD 10, and someone has been using GLP 1s for years and switched doctors. They may not have the blood test that confirms their original diagnosis or make it hard to get approved either again or with new insurance. It's also hard to explain away why the other ICD 10 was added or someone doesn't want to hear AI did that when the doctor or NPS is sign off on those notes. If you guys have a way to screen and read over your chart notes on file, especially if they are needed for prior authorizations and you are denied, do it. Insurance companies have to tell you why something that they did not why something is denied, and most often the answer can be found in their way their PA form was filed or the chart notes, sometimes even the lack thereof. People often jump to a lot of conclusions about insurance companies when it is the doctor's office documentation that was subpar. Should not be using AI for notes in a doctor's office. You just shouldn't. Not if it's doing stuff like that. That's weird and crazy. Next is from Am I Overreacting? And is entitled Am I Overreacting About This Weird Friend Breakup? And there are texts that we can read together. Says, dude, can we talk? Low key kind of important, dog, because we got to talk. Okay, sorry, I was away from my phone. No worries. First thing Friday during free block, not cool. And not doing it 2 times, not cool. What wasn't cool? People bringing to the table randomly me and girlfriend wouldn't have minded if you gave us a head up. I'm sorry, the first guy just showed up on his own. It won't happen again. Second thing, need an honest opinion of what your actual girlfriends are toward me and girlfriend. Remember, I'm a very observant person no matter what. Like your relationship, no, as individuals. I don't have much an opinion of girlfriend. She is my friend's friend. You're just, I don't know. I never really thought about it. You're chill. What prompted this? Slight change in behavior toward me, slight enough that people don't pick up, but obviously obvious to me and girlfriend. I don't think I'm acting any different. That's another thing about slight behavior changes the person never notices. And how has my behavior changed? A shift that slightly shows I want for more closeness that might not make sense, but I have no other way to properly to explain it. But I'm a different kind of way to explain it. You low key started making me uncomfortable, not about the crap you say about people, just the body language towards me. In what specific, I really don't treat you any different than other people. I've been talking to another friend of mine that you don't know, and her idea is that you have some sort of feeling toward me. I do not have feelings for you. And they quote, I guess they can quote on probably iPhones. I don't know how to do that on mine. I don't really treat you any different than other people. And he says it's hard to explain. It's more of a body language than anything. She says, I don't have feelings for you. She says, that's what I told her. I told her it was impossible for that to be a possibility. I treat you like I do at all of my friends. I'm actually significant more distant with you because every time I even tap you, you wipe your arm off. And he says, she said to observe you like I would a person that you hate, and I want to cause issues. This girlfriend, it's the girlfriend. It's the girlfriend that's causing this. Um, I don't like being touched by people who I deem aren't as close. Man, he's a jerk. Sorry. So with that said, all condolences. Find a different table for free block from now on. I'm finding another place to sit during lunch. All right. And yes, this is all me. I don't want fingers pointed at girlfriend, and doing so will cause issues with me. 10 minutes later, wait, I would like a clarification. You don't want to be friends anymore because someone told you that I might have a crush on you. You explicitly said I don't. I did not. I confirmed that I don't, and there's still a problem. It's the girlfriend. What's the real issue here? I didn't say end friendship, but if that's how your interpretation was, then I'm fine with it. But my friend said to watch out for specifics, and when I did, she seemed to be right. I told my friend that I wanted to give you the benefit of a doubt. It's the girlfriend. And I tell everything to my wife, and she also agreed with my friend's insight. Wife? I thought you had a girlfriend. We only see each other during free block and lunch. There is no friendship without seeing each other, and that's not my interpretation. That's just how it is. Me giving you that benefit of the doubt is causing me issues with people. Who? What people? Who? You don't know them. I met them freshman year at Old Town. You don't know them. Thank you for those who told me under my last post that a specific phrase brought up at my school. I'm reposting this so that if she reaches out, I can just send her the thread. For context, I am female 17 and she is female 16, 17. We have been friends since sophomore year. I thought we were pretty close. We gossiped during the lunch break and we have together for the past week or so. I've been sitting with her and her girlfriend at their cafeteria table during free block. It's only them and one or two other people that they do not know. The first issue is that I invited a friend to sit with me at their table one day, and the next day, a different friend was there waiting for me. Supposedly, the girlfriend told him where I sat, and I invited two other friends. I apologized for this initially because I wanted to keep the peace. I really don't get how it was an issue, but I was willing to give them a heads up beforehand from now on. It's stupid. This is such high school stupidity. The second issue is totally out of left field. They were totally fine on Thursday. My friend seemed off, but I didn't act too different. Under my last post, people brought up the touching thing. I rarely touch her. Oh, this is a girl. Okay, this is a lesbian girl. Sometimes our shoulders or thighs will touch from proximity or I tap her to get her attention or something out, but nothing beyond that. She has never set a boundary for touching ever. But I've noticed how she literally brushes herself off. It made me feel insecure for a while because it made me think she thought I was gross, so I kept my distance. All year, she wouldn't wait for me to pack up or wait for me to catch up in the halls, but she always said it was because she wanted to pick up her girlfriend from class, so I never thought much of it. But I'm starting to think maybe a part of this. Truly, I'm not interested in her. She's not my type, and she knows it. Queen Picard says, why did I read this as whole conversation as two dudes talking before seeing the bio? I'm shocked a girl was texting like that. Miss Carey says you don't call your girlfriends a big dog. I didn't think it was two guys. I thought it was a guy and a girl that happened to be friends, and he had a girlfriend. So yeah, I thought the not the OP, but the other person was a guy. Linky particular. What specifically has changed? Her. I don't know. I can't describe it. It's like body language only, so I'm so observant. Good run, Scopy. She's bonkers. Exactly. Synthetic aesthetic says, giving you the benefit of the doubt, causing issues with some people who, oh, you don't know them. They go to another school. Actual comedians couldn't write comedy like this. Administrative bed says, when you are older, OP, you are going to look back on such conversations and laugh. Icy City said, exactly. I'm so glad I'm not a teenager anymore. This crap is exhausting. OP, she's bonkers. She may be into you, but she may just be seeking drama, but whatever it is, ignore her. I hope she finds another place to sit for lunch. They sound exhausting. Blue Bean says, NOR, she sounds weird as heck. Wiping her arm when you touch her because she doesn't deem you important enough. What the hell is she? The hell is she? Five High fives self O says that part is super weird to me. Not someone worthy calling a friend. And Bear Mom says exactly. It's also causing her problems with other people, but it's apparently people the OP doesn't even know. Yeah, I call total BS. Money, honey, find new friends. When this person breaks up with their girlfriend, they're going to come crawling back to you and apologizing and blaming everyone else. Please don't forgive or believe them. It's not somebody from a different school. It's the girlfriend. The girlfriend is the one with the issue because she thinks the girl has it for the OP. The girlfriend is the issue. I'm telling you right now. LMAO, LMFAO. The way she texts is so cringe. LOL, NOR. You can tell she thinks way too highly of herself. Special Artichoke says, remember, I'm very observant. All right, babe, well, observe me never talking to you again because your psychotic demeanor. Dry Strategy says, I'm very observant. You're observing hallucinations. Go take some Abilify. Oh, I gotta read the fourth comment. It looked good. Budget University said, I'm about to turn 35, so I'm not an expert in the dynamics of teen friendships today, but this sounds like it has nothing to do with your actions. I suspect your friend's girlfriend doesn't want you to be friends for whatever. NOR, this is really odd. That's exactly what it is. I'm 100% sure that that's exactly what it is. They have not posted an update. Next we have Server Life, and it says customers say the dumbest things. I had a customer say that it's too cold in my job, so that when they are talking with their food, it gets too cold. Mind you, the AC is on the fritz, so we've been doing our fans at the lowest speed, and now it's 70 degrees outside. It's low 70 outside. We need a laugh because please tell me some of the dumbest things a customer ever said to y'all. I mean, honestly, at 70 degrees, I'm kind of cold. Lizard skin cuisine. Does that mean that there's a cuisine regarding lizard skin, or that lizard skin is a Cuisinart? Anyway, they said I had a customer come up to the bar saying starting touching all the straws, digging through them. I was like, "You need something?" He goes, "I need a fork." My brother in Christ, those look like forks. I hate it when they say stupid stuff like my brother in Christ. That's super annoying to me. Cassidy Louise, sorry, answers, man, you unlocked an old one for me. I'm working at a quick service pizza restaurant in the middle of nowhere in Montana. This woman asked for water. I point her to the fountain with cups stacked to it. She grabs a cup, looks around, then pushes her cup into a cup full of napkins sitting on the counter, genuinely expecting it to give her water. I can't. It's weird. We'll probably read a bunch of these. Acceptable Abalone says, I'm allergic to shrimp. Why are you an abalone then? The customer asked if I liked the shrimp tacos, and I just said I haven't had it. I have a shellfish allergy. They go, okay, that makes sense why you haven't had it then. So they acknowledged the shellfish allergy and processed that. They proceeded to then ask me if I liked the shrimp po' boy. I started to laugh because clearly that was meant as a joke. Well, joke's on me. In fact, they weren't joking. Like, are we being so for real right now? They just said they're allergic. Why would you ask them about the same kind of Milky Bunny answers, they really do seem to have that short a memory. Hosting taught me that if you say something so clearly with genuine enthusiasm and active eye contact, they aren't listening. Their eyes glaze and they get confused. I think it's the days of them being in their free time, happy dinner plans. They literally aren't thinking as we are being at work. Trying to lean into the joyful stupidity of it, I try almost meet them at their base level. My best days are the best days. I start treating them like toddlers and slowly work up to maturity age scale based on their intelligence and focus while speaking to them. It helps when you harness the kindergarten teacher energy. I think many guests like it. Makes them feel confident and safe, I think, and they seem to want to be corralled. Think of yourself as the corgi or sheep herding dog. They need you to guide them. I don't think any human really understands group dynamics. The din of a crowd seems to make most want to take a mental backseat. Actually, the din of the crowd is what's distracting them because it's loud and obnoxious. Bender is great says, customer asked me if the bacon in the Caesar salad is really bacon or bacon bits. I'm like, it's real bacon. It's cooked and chopped in house. She pauses and says, oh, but you probably have to say that, right? Bruh, why are you wasting my time? Jimmy James says, I once served a Caesar to a guest who complained, what a crap salad. Doesn't even have tomatoes in it. Right? Because it's a Caesar, you effing hillbilly. I had someone ask if our North Atlantic salmon is locally caught. We live in Pennsylvania, nowhere near the ocean. I heard another guest ask my coworker if the steak wedge salad had any steak on it because the description didn't list steak. Golly. I mean, if I'm really tired, I could see myself doing that, but geez. Academic Face says we serve calamari steak strips. I've started clarifying that they no, it's not actually steak. Well, yeah, I mean, some people don't know what calamari is. Cat Poland says my ex was a chef and his boss invented beet carpaccio. It was kind of cool, but I bet a lot of customers didn't read it properly, which he was counting on. A very mischievous man. uh, Somebody says we have a vegan crab cakes that often get so they're not real crab cakes or they're crab cakes vegan. Mind you, the name on the menu is vegan crab cakes, so they're not real crab cakes. They're just stating the obvious. You should have another word for crab if you're going to have vegan crab cakes. Just saying. Merrick Raven says the other day had a guy ask me if we had a lime flavored margarita, and I had to keep myself from saying, "You mean a margarita?" Poach Weasel says a guest once said his tiramisu was soft serve Sunday. Tiramisu soft serve Sunday was cold on the bottom. Video necessary says, and now I want a tiramisu soft serve Sunday. Me too. No context, no weighing says I had a guest who complained their pistachios tiramisu was cold and flavorless. Asking if there was anything they would like instead that was more flavorsome and less cold, they decided on vanilla ice cream. Felt bad for telling the Italian chef who made the tiramisu daily. Ooh, that sounds good. Now I'm getting hungry. I once got this lady some hot tea with honey as she loved honey so much. She was like, this honey is so good. Is it made in house? I'm like, no, unfortunately, it isn't. Like, do you just expect to have this beehive in the kitchen or something? No, the beehive would be outside, of course. Don't be silly. My pet named Taku says top eight top comes in with a note on their reservation saying they want to sit outside. We had closed the patio because it was 95 degrees outside, 35 Celsius. Humid as a wet fart in the Louisiana bayou. They insisted on sitting outside, so we moved some heavy ass tables together in the sweltering heat and sit them outside. Host informs them beforehand that if they give up their table inside, they will not be able to move inside, since we had a large party on our waiting list and it was the last large table inside. After taking their drink order, one of them says, it's much too hot, and can we please turn on an air conditioner? Ma'am, we are outside. How do you expect me to make it cooler? I take the food order for these wanging invalids after I put it in. They insist on moving to an inside table because it is unbearably hot. Manager folds like a bitch, and we are forced to move more tables together inside. Seat numbers get all winged up, of course, and it takes like 10 minutes to drop off their food. All of this at 7 p.m. on a Saturday. FFS. Lemon Warlock says that reminds me of a restaurant I used to work at where half the restaurant was outside near a creek. People would come in and ask to sit outside, then ask me if I could do anything about the bugs. You're outside in their home. There's only so much the zappers are going to do. What do you expect me to do? Ask them to leave. I worked at a campground and people would ask us to do something about the bugs. It's like you're in a campground. This is their house. You're in a campground. Of course, there's going to be bugs. Don't be silly. Next, we have Best of Redditor updates, and it is entitled "Found out my girlfriend is cheating on me. Giving her this card tonight at my birthday dinner." Original post was from March 23rd, 19. It was posted to r/pics. Originally March 23rd, 2026. Possibly have cards. Says this card will feel heavy because it's packed with your house key. Now that you're single, you don't need to feel guilty about your sexually charged text with Michael, going on dates with Jared, or about getting drinks tomorrow with Derek. Okay, that's really kind of weird. Okay. Relevant comments are, how you doing, OP? How'd you find out? OP says she left her Facebook Messenger open to a pretty damning conversation when she handed me her laptop once. I continued to soup. I feel bad, but not that bad. JSAB asked if you're going to do this in front of everyone or wait till everyone is left. She says it's just a birthday dinner for two, not going to get crowd involved. BH Work says can't upvote this enough. You should keep a decent amount of photo evidence of the house, apartment you lived in, enough to corroborate any claims you may have if she decides to go ape crap on your house. OP says she doesn't have a key to my place. Fortunately, I didn't live with her. I was just there all the time. Update. It's ruined. Thanks, Reddit. Her bestie found this and called her. I don't know how he knew we were even still dating, considering how she's been hiding that fact from everyone. She just called, and I'll do my best to transcribe the conversation from memory. Me, hey, what's up? Her, I was calling to ask you that. Me, I'm getting some Mexican food. Her, well, Aaron called me and asked if I was okay. Me, yeah. Her, asked if you'd done anything embarrassing today. Then he sent me a picture. So is there anything you want to say to me? Me, I don't want to say anything to you. In fact, I don't think I want to talk to you ever again. Long pause. Me, do you understand why? Her, I don't understand anything. Me, oh yeah? Her, I think you're disrespecting me. Internally facepalm. See, you got to do this after you do it, after you do the deed. Me, is posting a funny picture disrespectful? Then what is cheating and lying about it? Her, who's cheating? Me, go wang yourself. I'll leave the key in your mailbox. Bonus update, the envelope card was in oh, Imager. Final comments, the magic loogie says, funny that since her actual name isn't mentioned in the post, they were still able to figure out who she was. Wait, my friend has been doing this with those guys named behind her boyfriend's back, and it's his birthday today. I gotta warn her. Guess she wasn't keeping it very quiet. At least you're done with OP. Done with it, OP. Turbo Wang says, wait a second, your ex is such a humongous crapberry that her best friend recognized her crapberry behavior in a greeting card on the internet. OP says Aaron is her best friend, ex-boyfriend. I don't think anything was going on there, but I don't know. It was a very strange situation. Somebody says, we told you to delete and repost, bro. We told you. OP says, I'm so sorry. And OP with more on Aaron in the relationship. He's her best friend and ex-boyfriend. It was strange. Side note. She was allowed to hang out with him ad libitum and even let him stay the night on our couch. But the moment I talked about any other woman, I was a crap eating cheater. Flag says, that's how I'm going to pronounce it. It's not that. Never gloat before you carry out your revenge, LMAO. This is like the third post the cheater found out from Reddit post. Yeah, like I said, you do it first and then you post it. So, I feel like OP really missed an opportunity to wing with her when she showed him the picture of the card he posted. Why'd Aaron send you that? Does he think you're cheating? 100%. So Aaron saw a card that didn't have her name on it, but a bunch of dudes she was winging and immediately knew it was her. What a piece of crap she is, and by Aaron by extension. Even if he wasn't banging her, he knew she was cheating on OOP and said nothing. Nice rat says, that's the crazy part. And then on top of that, having the audacity to be like, who's cheating? Like Aaron can figure out who OP was based on a card giving three people's names, and then that's the stupidest offense you can give when texting OP, right? Damp blanket is the third top rated comment, and they say, man got too excited to tell somebody about it and ruined it. Rest in peace. That girl in Arizona says, I remembered an old post where a woman got on Reddit and laid out exactly how she was going to embarrass her cheating boyfriend in front of everyone and then leave him in the lurch. She was livid, but she has plans. She was also really proud of bulletproof work she had put into ruining this dude's day, week, month. Of course, somehow he found out about the post and refused to show up for his epic comeuppance. Then she had to come back to Reddit and let us know all her plans fell apart. Moral of the story, don't post your revenge plans until you've carried them out. That's exactly it. Why is that gone? Let me miss my name. Okay. All right. Last we have Made Me Smile. And this is entitled Kids Napping to Birds Singing. Now, where do I sign up for the adult version of this? Oh, they're so cute. Wait till you see them all. They're adorable. I can't stand it. I can't. Look at them. They're so cute. Not babies. They're toddlers. More up in the. Oh, they're so cute. That sounds so relaxing. It looks so relaxing. All right, that's all I got for today. Um, I hope you all have a good day. I will be back tomorrow. I have to go grocery shopping at some point here. I don't think it's going to be today, though. I just don't feel like going. I just do not feel like going. I think I'm just going to. What's the temperature right now? 51. Yeah, I might take a stroll down to the um, mailbox and see how I feel after that. Probably more tired. All right, I will see you all tomorrow. Have a lovely evening, and I love you all. Have a good day. Bye. I hate when they move things around. Bye, biddies. Bye. Love you.